In Indian economy, we are going to discuss about Washington Consensus. Okay, so first we have to know the meaning of consensus. So basically, consensus meaning is general agreement. Okay, so it is a general agreement to create the awareness in the economy. Okay, so first of all, Washington Consensus is a set of reform policy packages, or these are some of the recommendations which are suggested by the Washington Consensus. Okay, so these important recommendations, these reform policy packages are suggested by three important organizations. Okay, so first one is World Bank. Okay, these important suggestions were suggested by the World Bank and US Department of the Treasury. It means the Finance Ministry of the United States, and next International Monetary Fund. Okay, so these important international organizations given some important recommendations for the developing countries, especially these recommendations for the developing countries, because developing countries facing an economic crisis. So that's why these important organizations came front to give the recommendations or to give the suggestions to come out of from the economic crisis. Okay, okay, so the name itself Washington Consensus. Okay, so it means why they given the Washington to the general agreement, because World Bank has a headquarters in the Washington DC. It means it is in United States. Next, International Monetary Fund, it has also it means headquarters in the Washington DC. In the same way, US Department of the Treasury, it is in Washington DC. So that's why these important organizations are based on the Washington. So that's why these organizations given some suggestions. So that's why the consensus was given name Washington. So especially US economist John Williamson given the name to this consensus, because these Washington consensus, all the institutions, organizations are based on the Washington. Okay, so that's why these important recommendations of the consensus given the name Washington. Okay. Okay, so according to the IMF, World Bank, and US Department of the Treasury, so they given 10-point reform policy prescription. Okay, especially for the developing countries, because developing countries facing an economic crisis. So India is also one of the developing countries, right? So that's why these 10-point reform policy prescriptions were given to the developing countries. Okay. So first one is the fiscal discipline. Okay, so here fiscal discipline means there is a balance between revenue and expenditure of the government. Okay, so here fiscal means balance between revenue and expenditure. For example, if there is no balance between revenue and expenditure, what will happen? The crisis will happen. Okay, so for example, the government is expends so much of the money on the public. Okay, so but there is no money. So here the money means the taxes, fees from the people. Okay, so revenue is nothing but income, expenditure is nothing but spending money on something. Okay, so here expenditure means minus point, money is going. Revenue means plus point, money is coming. Okay, so here there should be a balance between the revenue and expenditure, what we are expending money on something which is related to the public. Okay, so it means there is a balance between revenue and expenditure. Okay, so what we are expends money on something and what we are receiving income to the government. Okay, so for example, if the expenditure is increasing but the revenue is not increasing, there may be a chance to crisis, economic crisis. Okay, for example, the revenue also increasing, okay, but the expenditure is not perfectly in the public, but there should be a, it means there is no development in the economy. Okay, but the growth is growing, but the development is not that much of the growth. Okay, next one is public expenditure priorities towards fields. Okay, so here the public, it means government also spends the money on something fields, right? So it means both high economic returns. So not only on the high economic returns but on the potential also. It means, for example, increasing, okay, so increasing income, it means income distribution. It means all have the right to work. So the work is divided into all the persons, each and every person has to do something work. Okay, it means unemployment should be decreased. Okay, and primary health care. Okay, so here the primary health care is very important. Okay, in village level, so there should be one center for the primary health. Next, primary education is also very important, because primary education is the foundation for the children. Okay, and infrastructure also uh, is to be increased and it is to be developed. Okay. Next, third one is a tax reform. Okay, so there may be a chance to form the reformations in the tax system also. Okay, lower marginal rates. Okay, so there should be one edge to the rates of the tax. Okay, so next, interest rate liberalization. Okay, so here liberal means the freedom. Okay, so there should be a free for the interest rate. Okay, so according to the person, so the interest, according to the thing, the interest rate would be created. Okay, so there may be a liberalization in the interest rates also. Next one, competitive exchange rate. Okay, so it indicates the ratio of items purchased in domestic market. It means within the country, within the own country. In the same way, the particular item purchased in the foreign market also. So just the competitive exchange rate means it is the ratio of the rates purchased item purchasing of the particular item in the domestic market in the same way in the foreign market. Okay. Next one, trade liberalization. Okay, so it means trading between countries. There is a freedom to the competitors. There should be a freedom to the persons who are involving in the trading. Okay. Liberalization of FDI. FDI means foreign direct investment. Okay, so we can create the liberalization of the FDI. So it means the foreigners also can invest in our country, and in the same way we also go to any other country and we can also invest our money in that particular country. Okay, so there should be a freeness to the people who are investing their money on the point of the foreign countries. Okay, privatization. Okay, so here the privatization is very important. Okay, so each and everyone can involve in the market, each and everyone can involve and they can conduct their own business, because without a privatization we cannot depend on the government itself. Okay, because there are so many problems in the socialist country, there are so many problems in the capitalist country. So but in the mixed economy there should be a regulation from the state. Okay, so that's why without regulation from the government there should be increasing of the privatization, deregulations. Okay, excuse me. Deregulations means abolishing barriers to entry or exit. Okay, so for example, any person wants to invest money in the economy, so he come and he will invest the money in the market. Okay, so here there is no barriers to entry. In the same way, there is no barriers to exit. So if in the same person, maybe he wants to get out of from the market, so he can go. Okay, so it means without regulations, so the market economy or the important economy is going very free and secure the property rights. Okay, so we should secure our property rights. In the same way, government also giving some important provisions to secure our property rights, because a person who always investing money on something, so he started to getting the income. or wealth. Okay, in the same way he started to buying so much of the wealth and property. Okay, in that time, so government or state is going to give the important pressures to secure our property rights. So it is very important thing. Without security to the property rights, we cannot go to the invest another, because by using our wealth we are going to buy our property. So without security to our property, we cannot motivate to invest money on the market. Okay, so these are the 10 points agreement or prescriptions which was given by the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, US Department of the Treasury. Okay, so the name was given to the Washington Consensus by the John Williamson. Okay.